Hello everybody, it's the 1st of April today, but you don't need to worry about this being any kind of April Fool's video. It'll be the middle of the month probably by the time this gets uploaded to YouTube. I have a few other videos already made and in the works, and it'll take me a bit to edit these together, such as it is. So unfortunately this tree, or the pot rather, was victim of those sharp frosts that we had and has broken, so it's going to have to be replaced. I'm going to be replacing it with this nice green oval pot which came complete with its own water tray, which is really useful for these alders. They're very thirsty trees and like a lot of water. I wasn't sure about the green. I liked the blue that it was in, but I had that pot for Christmas and I think it'll do quite nicely. It's slightly wider and I think it'll look quite good. So let's get the turntable out, the potting tray in, and work these roots. Alders are very thirsty trees. You can see how this tree sent its roots out into that tray questing for the water. And I think probably the easiest way to get rid of this, to get this tree out of this pot, is just to continue with the demolition. So I won't subject you to that on camera, but I'm basically going to smash it. Okay, so a few little snacks later, and there was no salvaging this pot. Tried gluing them together and things in the past, but without any real success. You can see how the roots have came out through that drainage hole. I'm going to start by getting rid of all the moss and crud on the surface. Had grafted in those extra roots, and they've definitely taken, which is nice, and we're in part responsible for filling that pot with root. I do have quite an unsightly bulge here that I'm going to have to take care of, but I think I will wait and maybe do that end of May, or end of April, beginning of May rather. Let's get rid of that mess. Notice that the mix I use for my alders has a lot more organic matter in it, and as I say, that's because they are such thirsty trees that they benefit from an extra bit of the organic matter. So I'm just going to take off the bottom where the pot has filled round and round and gone out through those drainage holes. I thought I saw a vine weevil, but it was just a piece of white grit. But I have the nematodes in the fridge. It arrived yesterday or the day before, and I will be treating all my pots with said nematodes in the next week or so. The soil is beginning to warm up. The nematodes need a soil temperature of about 10 degrees, I believe. Okay, so I think that would go into the pot relatively, maybe a little bit more off the bottom. Clean up those roots a little more, and then the tree's not too pot bound, so not too much in the way of roundy round roots, but I will just loosen around the outside of this root ball what roots there are, and then hopefully they will crest out into the new soil, into the new pot. I'm burying my scissors. Done that before now, and then spent 10 minutes looking for them, and they were there under my nose. So yeah, some unsightly bulges. They're definitely going to have to be worked on, and but that's all right. We can work on that and get it nice as the years go on. Still got a few years left in me. Still seems quite high in this back corner. I can get my fingers to work, and the scissors to work. A couple of chunky roots there. Get rid of those, and then it can put out some feeder roots. That's better. That's better. Okay, that will fit in the pot quite nicely. Maybe a little bit more off this side. Excellent. Yes, happy with that. Maybe a little bit more upright when I put the soil in, but cool. I'm happy with that positioning. Okay, so leave that to one side and pop in a couple of these new pothole covers. What a stupid name. That's not the right name, and I cannot think of what I'm trying to say. Drainage screen, that's the word. As soon as I said I couldn't think of it, it popped into my head. A new sort of drainage screen I'm using this year. It's come in these discs, and they seem to be working quite well. I have started putting a small layer of potting grit, neat potting grit as it were, just over them. I think it holds them in place and it doesn't seem to block them up, and the new kitty litter, or some of the kitty litter particles, are fine enough that they can go in between those holes and actually block them, which, as you can imagine, isn't useful. As I said, this mix is got a much higher organic content, and I use that with willows and alder and the like that need that, that extra oomph in terms of moisture. Let's just check that for level. That seems good. Level and fit seems great. So pop that back out again. Close for a second. Good handful of controlled release fertilizer. Just mix that in so the tree's not sat directly onto it. It has to quest a little bit to find it, but I don't want it at the bottom of the pot. And yes, I know I'm repeating myself, but for some people this may be their first video. Okay, so pop that in again, just double check I'm happy with its position. I think I would like it to lean slightly. That's better. Yeah, okay, and because I've got that nice flat solid root base, it's just a question of filling in around. And this being so much more organic, it doesn't pour quite as well as the other, but combination of fingers and dibbers, I can get it right in around those roots. And where I've got much of a gap, I'm going to use my little pink dibber. Okay, so I've added some extra controlled release fertilizer granules and then topped up the pot, tried to make it look nice and uniform up to the roots, old with new, and quite pleased with that. Obviously the water tray, I nearly said gravy boat, the water tray will sit under this during the hot summer and into the autumn, possibly even later than that, and then the roots can get down into that if they absolutely need to. The trees fared really well even during that hot spell that we had last summer, as long as I kept the tray topped up with water. So I'm going to give the top a bit of a trim. I just want to shorten some of these long straight bits, and where I've got pieces that are crossing, and of course I need to compensate for the root that I removed to a certain extent as well. But I don't want to cut off all the growth from last year, otherwise we'll never get anywhere. Take that out, it's a horrible sticky up bit, and there's a big oat straight piece which is rather dull and boring as well, so I will carry on with this. Okay, so it wasn't a huge amount of root I've taken off, and so I've just taken off, you know, the usual crossing bits and whatnot. I think this tree will be quite happy now for spring. I did spot a piece of wire that needs to come off. In fact, two pieces of wire that are beginning to cut in, so move those quickly. Trees do develop quite quickly and grow quite quickly, so you definitely need to keep an eye on them. Alders in general, that is, common alder as well, because they do grow very quickly. I do have some wire scarring, but it's at the back of the tree and I think I can live with it, so I'm not going to remove that branch. Okay, so there we have it, back to the front. So there we have the tree in its new pot, and actually I think it looks even better than it did in the blue pot. As I said at the beginning of the video, I wasn't entirely sure about the green pot, but I like it, and I think it's got a certain something. So give you a quick 360, and then we'll look at the other one in this. I guess it's little brother, little sister maybe, who knows. Okay, so this is the other tree that's in the Royal Alder playlist, and this one, well, I started growing in the traditional S shape. You can even see There's still a little bit of wire scarring from when I wired it into this S shape. I've since sort of grown a lot less interested in sort of S-shaped cookie cutter trees, but I still like this one. It's quite delicate, it's quite graceful. It's has a slightly perhaps more refined look than the its larger sibling. Let's get rid of some of this moss that's on the surface. I'm not going to repot this one, but I do want to get rid of this moss that's built up over the winter and make a mess doing it, because I should have brought in the potting tray. Hello Coopy Doo, I heard it too, mate. There's an ambulance by the sound of it. Don't like it, do you, Coops? Okay, so that's better. Say that again. Alright then, boom. I'm not a big fan of airplanes which are going over as well, but there you go. And quick job. So I'm just gonna, this one hasn't put out as many roots at the bottom of the root holes, drainage holes. So I'm just making sure they're not blocked, and then again I'm just going to give this one a bit of a trim back, long straight pieces, etc. But not as severe as the other one. Piece there that's crossing. That's about it for this video. Just going to add some fertilizer granules. And a top dressing to make sure that stays damp. And then I'll give both these trees a good watering. And they're set up for spring. See, the root broom one will go into a place in the shade house where it can be protected till it recovers. Okay, so there's the Duke's Canyon for scale. Just time to say thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting below, but most of all, please stay safe everybody.